Hi, Phanessa here. In this video, I am going to demonstrate how to crochet this puff stitch granny square bag. This is part of this year's blog hop, and the theme is puff stitches. So I thought I'd make a bag with granny squares using puff stitches. Okay, so for this bag, I used 15 squares. I used 8 of the gray color and 7 of the yellow color. I also used a gray for the straps. So each square is 5.5 inches. The bag is about 15.5 inches wide and 13 inches tall. That's to the shortest part of the bag, which is in the center. Okay, so let's get started on making the granny squares, and you can use any combination color you want. The only thing I did was switch out the color for a square on the second round. I did use just 2 balls of each color. So for the materials, I'm using City Tweed. This is Knit Picks, and they have a lighter weight version of this, but I chose the worsted. So I am using the larger size of the recommended hook. I'm going to use the size K, which is 6.5 millimeters. And then you'll need a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and a stitch marker. So you can just use one of these. These are easier to get your yarn through. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with the yellow in the center, and I'm starting with the magic ring. So holding your tail, wrap your yarn around over your tail, and then insert your hook into that loop to grab the working yarn, and then you have your magic ring. I'm going to chain 1 to secure this. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a tall loop. So we want to create our very first puff stitch, okay? So it's going to be about the height of your puff stitch, which is about a double crochet stitch. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into this ring, and then pull up a loop, and you're going to do that 4 times. Yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull up a tall loop. Okay, you want to pull it all the way up, that's 1. Yarn over, into the ring, yarn over, and pull up a tall loop. Okay, that's 2. You want to pull up another, that's 3. And this is your 4th. You want to make sure you have 9 loops on your hook. You want to yarn over and then pull through all 9 loops, and you're going to chain 1 to secure. If you need to tighten this circle, just pull on the tail. And I'm working right over the tail. Okay, so we have 1 puff stitch. We're going to work 8 puff stitches into the ring. Okay. So again, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into this ring, and then pull up a loop, and then you're going to do that 4 times until you have 9 loops on your hook. Yarn over, into the ring, yarn over, pull up a tall loop. Okay, make sure it comes up to this puff stitch. That was 2, this is 3, and 4. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. Yarn over, pull through all 9 loops, and chain 1 to secure. Okay, so that's 2 puff stitches. I need to work 6 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, pull through all 9 loops, chain 1 to secure. One, 2, 3, and 4. Pull through all 9 loops, chain 1. This is my last puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull through 9 loops and chain 1. Okay, double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so pull on your tail so you can tighten that circle, that center. And then you're going to work a slip stitch. So you're joining with a slip stitch to the very first puff stitch. So this is the chain 1 that you created when you secured your puff stitch. So you can join with the new color. You would just pick up the other color and pull through like this. Or you could join and then switch out. It's up to you. Now we're going to work in between the puff stitches. Okay, so we're placing 2 puff stitches in every space between these puff stitches. So to start round 2, you're going to work a slip stitch into the space. So insert your hook into that space between these 2 puff stitches and then work a slip stitch. And then when you're done, you want to pull a tall loop as tall as your puff stitches are going to be. And if you're a beginner, it'll take some time to get used to your tension and how high you want to pull this up. So again, we're going to work 2 puff stitches into this space here in between these 2 puff stitches. That's a 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, yarn over, pull through all 9 loops, chain 1 to secure. So I'm going to work 1 more puff stitch right into the same space. Pull the loop up to this puff stitch here. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, pull through 9 loops, chain 1 to secure. Okay, so now we're just going to work 2 of these puff stitches in every space between these 2 puff stitches, and you'll have a total of 16 puff stitches when you're done. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by to watch. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. And hit that notification bell so that you will be notified when I post a video. So I have 15 puff stitches. I'm ready to work my last puff stitch. Okay, so now we're going to join to the first puff stitch here. Again, you can join first and then switch colors, or you can slip stitch with the new color because we will be using the yellow now. And we're done using the gray color. So I'm going to tie a couple of knots back here. Now we're ready for round 3. Again, we're going to work into the space between puff stitches. So the first thing you want to do is slip stitch into the next space. So what we're going to do is we're going to work 2 puff stitches in these 2 puff stitches. So in the space between these 2. In the space that's between the 2 sets, we're just going to work 1 puff stitch. So that's the repeat around. There's going to be 2 puff stitches in between these. So this is the set. In between these sets right here, we're going to work 1. So it's 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And you're adding 12 more puff stitches. So you will have a total of 24 puff stitches. Since we're in between this set, we're going to work 2 puff stitches. So pull up a tall loop. Okay, we're going to work our first puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, 1 more puff stitch in the same space. Make sure you pull that tall loop. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now this space is in between these 2 sets. We're just going to work 1 puff stitch. Okay, now in this set, just like this one, we're going to work 2 puff stitches. That's 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we're going to work 1 more puff stitch in the same space. And then between these 2 sets, we're just going to work 1 puff stitch. So you're going to repeat that all the way around. You should have 24 puff stitches. So 2 here, 1 here, 2 here, and 1 here. I'm working on my last puff stitch. And then I'm going to join to the first puff stitch. I'm not changing colors, so I'm just going to join with the same yarn. For our last row, we're going to slip stitch into the next space. So you can chain 3 or work a chainless double crochet, which I'm going to do. Pull up a tall loop, place your finger right here, bring your hook forward and to the back. I'll show you that again. You don't want to let go of this loop here. Bring the hook forward to the back, insert your hook right into the same space. And then this right here is where you will complete your double crochet. So I'm still holding on to this. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. So you can chain 3 if you prefer. Now I'm going to work 2 double crochets into the same space. So we're trying to create a corner here. I'm going to chain 2, that's the corner, and then into the same space 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to chain 1. So in the next space here, you're going to work 1 double crochet. So right into the next space, 1 double crochet, chain 1. So you're going to have a chain 1 after each stitch, at least on the sides. Into the next stitch, I'm going to work a half double crochet. So yarn over, into the next space, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Chain 1. Into the next space, we're just going to work a single crochet. Pull up a loop, and then work your single crochet. Chain 1. Okay, so you can see the edge forming here. Now we're going to go backwards on this side, so we're going to work a half double crochet, a double crochet, and then our corner stitches. So into the next space, 1 half double crochet. If you need basics for crocheting, you can check out my playlist. I'll include it in the corner. Don't forget the chain 1. Into the next space, 1 double crochet, and chain 1. So in this corner, we're going to do the same thing here. So because I worked the first double crochet here, you may have chained 3. This counts as 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. So I want to work 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets into that same space to create my second corner. That's 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets into the same space. So there is my second corner. So we're going to repeat these stitches. My second corner has been made. I already worked a chain 1. So you're going to work 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 half double crochet, chain 1, 1 single crochet, chain 1, and then backwards 1 half double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, and then your next corner. So repeat that all the way around and join to your top of the third chain. So double crochet, chain 1, hope I have enough yarn, half double crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, and then I'm at my corner. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets all into the same space, and that would be your third corner. Okay, I actually had enough yarn. So I'm back around, and then this last one here is going to be, I forgot to chain 1. This last one here is going to be our double crochet, chain 1. So you want to work a slip stitch, join to this first double crochet. If you chained 3, just join into the top of the third, so the third chain from your beginning chain 3. So for the chainless double crochet stitch, you can see the loops on top. Okay, and then slip stitch. It looks much cleaner in my opinion. Okay, so now you have your granny square. You just fasten off and weave in all your ends. Obviously I'm making a lot and I have not weaved in my ends so I'm just going to fasten off because I don't want that to unravel on me. So you can block as desired. I did try to block them and I felt like it really didn't make a difference, and that's probably because of the nature of the puff stitches. It may have relaxed the outside the last round, but other than that I felt like it didn't really make a difference. Okay, so we're ready to put together the bag. We're going to stitch the squares together using single crochet stitches. So you're going to take 2 squares and you want to make sure that the right sides are out, so the wrong side is together. And we're going to start here where the orange line is. It says start. So I mapped out the direction I want to stitch my squares because I want to eliminate the number of times I need to fasten on and fasten off, which eliminates the number of tails I have to weave in. So let's start with the first 2 squares. So I'm going to insert my hook right into the chain 2 space, work my slip knot and place it on my hook, and then I'm going to pull this through. I didn't weave in my ends, so I'm going to just crochet right over them. Okay, so I'm going to fasten on at the chain 2 space, and then I'm going to work 1 single crochet here. So chain 1, 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space. Make sure that you're working through both squares. You're always going to start with 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space. Now into the next stitch we're going to work 1 single crochet, and in the next 2 stitches you're going to work 1 single crochet in each. So here's the next stitch, 1 single crochet. Now you have a chain 1 space. You're just going to work right into the chain 1 space right here. So into the space, catching both squares, work 1 single crochet. Into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, and then the next space is 1 single crochet. So work in every stitch and chain space across, and then when you get to the chain 2 space in the other corner, you want to make sure you work just 1 single crochet. So I'm almost near the end. I have these 3 double crochets here that I'm going to work into. So that's 1, here's the second, and the third. So now we're in the chain 2 space. Just work 1 single crochet. Okay, so let's take a look at it. So we have our first 2 squares stitched together. So looking at the chart, the next one is going to be a yellow one on the side. So right here on this edge we're going to stitch the yellow one, and we're always going to start in the chain 2 space working 1 single crochet. Okay, so now I'm working with this same gray one and a new yellow one. So now I'm just going to continue working 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way across. When I'm done with these 2 squares, I'm just going to follow the chart and keep adding until I'm done. So when you get to a section where 4 squares meet and you've already worked across one section, all you have to do is just skip right on over and start your next edge. So right into the chain 2 space, and then continue in pattern, working your single crochets across. Okay, so I just followed the orange arrows. This is a chart that I mapped out, which is available in the blog. You can find the link in the description box below. So this is where I ended, and I cut my yarn there. So now I have just this section here. I'm going to start here and go across, and then go back down in this direction, and then I'll be done with stitching all the pieces together. Okay, fasten on in the chain 2 space, and then work your single crochet, and then just work over your tail like before, and work into each stitch and each chain space, just one single crochet in each stitch and chain space. Okay, so I'm at the end of stitching up these 2 squares. Always work in the chain 2 space. So I'm going to grab the next square, and I'm going to work down in this direction. And I'll start with the chain 2 space, so holding these 2 together right into the chain 2 space and work my first single crochet. Now I'm just going to continue like I've been doing down these 4 squares. Again, when you get to the end where this meets the other squares, you want to work into that last chain 2 space, and then you just want to hop on over and work into the next chain 2 space and start over again for these 2 squares. Okay, so once you've completed stitching up all your squares, just fasten off. And now we're ready to fold it in half. Make sure that the right side is on the outside. And we're going to start stitching from the bottom. So starting right here, this is the bottom, start right here, go up that way, fold this in and go in this direction. Again, I mapped out where I want to start and end on the corner there, as you can see. So I'm just going to fasten on right into the chain 2 space again, into this one and into the back piece, and work my first single crochet. Now I'm going to continue across, working one single crochet in every stitch until I get to the next chain 2 space, and that's going to be a little bit different than what we have been doing. Okay, so I've worked one side of my edge here. Now that we're here on this corner, you want to fold this yellow one in, but because this stitch here, or these 2 stitched together, ended here, and in order to tie those stitches together, you want to make a slip stitch. So right here they sort of cross each other, but for the sides here, here, and here, we're going to have to work a slip stitch when we get to the corner here. That'll tie the seams together. Okay, so I actually have a couple of more stitches before I finish this side. So here is the last stitch here, and right here where this one ends, you just want to work a slip stitch there. So I'm just going to insert my hook, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through. Now this edge is connected to that edge. Now I'm going to work across here, always starting with the chain 2 space, so right it there and in here, and work 1 single crochet. Again, I'm working right over the tail, so I'm going to work my single crochets across these edges. When I get to the other chain 2 space, I'm going to work another slip stitch into the corner. Okay, so this is my last stitch. I'm at the corner. So here is the chain 2 space right here. Okay, so right through here, you're going to work 1 slip stitch. So there's 2 chains. Work 1 slip stitch right through this space here. Okay, so that ties this edge to this corner. And then we're just going to turn and follow the direction that we need to stitch the squares together. So now I'm going to go in this direction here. So starting at the chain 2 space again, we're going to work 1 single crochet. I'm going to leave the tail. Okay, so I'm just going to crochet across until I get to the other corner, which then I will work a slip stitch to that corner as well. Okay, so when you get over here, you're going to want to do the same thing. You're going to work a slip stitch through this space, and then you'll continue on in this direction. I think that's the last one on this side. Yeah, so that's the last one. Oops. That's the last one on this side, and then you'll repeat for this side. You'll start here, you fasten on, and then you go in this direction here. Again, you want to work a slip stitch to this end here so that it ties together. And then you start going in this direction. You want to slip stitch into the chain 2 space here. Go in this direction. Slip stitch in the chain 2 space here. And then complete the last seam here. And then we'll start on the straps. So I repeat it for this side. And I'm here. What I'm going to do is work 1 round of single crochets around the top edge here. I'll work 1 round and see how I like it. So right into the first space here, 1 single crochet, and then in each stitch. So you're just working right on top of the stitches here. So the chain 1 space, next stitch, chain 1 space, and then just do that all the way around. So when you get to the chain 2 space, make sure you work 2 single crochets. Okay, so when you come down to this section here where all 3 meets, you're going to work a single crochet 3 together. First, you want to work into the space, the corner space of this square. So insert your hook and pull up a loop. And then you want to work into the space in this corner. So the corner space of this square, yarn over, pull up a loop. And then lastly, you want to go into this space here, which is the corner of this square. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of these loops. Okay, and then you just continue on. Make sure you do that for the other side as well. Just work a slip stitch to the first stitch, and then you can fasten off. So for the straps, I used the Romanian cord, and I used 2 of them because I thought that was pretty, and plus it's a little bit more sturdy. And and I just worked it right off of the chain 2 space on this end here and this end here. Okay, so we're going to start in the chain 2 space, and I just went until I was happy with the size. The strap is about 21 inches. Okay, it stops right here. This Romanian cord is thicker and it doesn't have much stretch. That's why I like it, because I don't want it to stretch over time and, you know, become really long. So I'm just going to use these as an example because I couldn't record the video when I actually attached the straps. You will start in the chain 2 space right here. Okay, that's this right here, and then we started right at the top of the bag in the chain 2 space here. So start your slip knot. Okay, so fasten on right in the chain 2 space of your bag. So that's the top part of the bag. You want to chain 1, and then you want to work 1 single crochet into the same space. Work 1 single crochet. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn slightly, and in the back of your single crochet there are 2 loops. Insert your hook into those 2 loops and work 1 single crochet. Okay, turn again. We're always going to turn clockwise. There's 1 loop here on the back. Insert your hook there and work another single crochet. Okay, so now from this point on, when you turn clockwise, you'll have 2 loops. So there's 2 loops there. You're going to work 1 single crochet. So that's what you're going to repeat until you're happy with the size of the straps. I'll include a link to the actual video tutorial. I think you might be able to see better in that video, just due to the nature of this yarn. It's a little hard to see. Okay, so let me show you again where the 2 loops are, right here at the back. Okay, so there's 1 and 2. So those are the 2 loops that you will work into. Okay, 1 single crochet. Okay, again, so right on the right side here, there are 2 loops. That's what you're going to work into. So turn slightly, insert your hook into the 2 loops, and then work your single crochet. Now you can turn back and forth instead of in a continuous circle to avoid getting all tangled up. Okay, so instead of turning that way, we'll go this way. You just have to sort of swing your hook back around. Okay, 1 single crochet and then turn clockwise. Work another single crochet and then turn counterclockwise, but you've got to bring your hook back to the front. You can always remove your hook and then turn it counterclockwise and put your hook back in, but that's just way too many steps for me. Okay, so once you have the length that you want, you're going to work into the other square on the other side. So when you're ready to join, you want to insert your hook into the 2 loops like you did before, and then before you work your single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the chain 2 space on the other side to join. So pull yarn over and then pull through and through the 2 loops, and then work your single crochet. For the other side, you'll start with 1 single crochet into the chain 2 space. Okay, so then you need to chain 1 and then work 1 single crochet into the 2 loops from the first single crochet. Okay, now turn. Remember, the first turn is only going to have 1 loop. Okay, so there's one loop, one single crochet. Now we're going to turn and work through the 2 loops. Okay, and then we're going to turn again and then just continue. So I didn't count my stitches. I just worked the second cord or strap until it was about the same length as the first one. And then I just joined on the back on the other side. You can always fasten off here and then fasten back on for the second strap. I really didn't keep track of the number of stitches. Again, it was about 21 inches. So I basically just held them together and see how I liked it. I didn't count to see how many I made there. So I would just go like this, and I like the feel of that. So then on my next one, I'm going to go through here and then make sure this isn't twisted and go through this side. Okay, so that's the other chain 2 space through there, through those 2 loops, and then your single crochet. Okay, so now we have the 2 straps. Now I'm just going to work one more single crochet into that space, and then you can fasten off here. Okay, and you have your cutesy little strap. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button so that you will be notified every time I post a video. I'll see you next time.